Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
As the agent for Peyton Ansley, John Milton, you are indicating to me that you're quite familiar with Peyton Ansley, John Milton, and that's basically you. Is that correct?
I am the agent authorized to represent Peyton Ansley, John Milton, as written in all capital letters.
All right, and you understand for my purposes, though that language doesn't make any sense. So
No, I do not.
I understand. Okay, well, I'm telling you that. And so I am, until you disabuse me of the motion, or the notion, I am inclined to believe that you are both the agent and the person. So. And it's
I'm not a person, I am one of the people, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Alrighty, good afternoon. Welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion. Welcome everybody. Come on in, take your seat. I think the seats are working. At least they should be soon. Let me just check. Let me check on the seats really quickly. Refresh. Now they're working. There we go. Just repaired all the chairs in the theater all at once, the entire courtroom. There we go. Look at that. Boom. The seats turned on. Okay.
Bring the jury.
Let's see. We are getting ready for court up in Thurston, Washington. It's their schedule. We're just hoping to follow it. So as soon as they go live, we'll bring it to you. We watched the voir dire, or most of it, with the jury, which is awesome. We got to see the jury get selected, and a lot of people got kicked off the jury. They went through about 14 people, 15 people.
I saw a chicken fight.
Before they managed to seat a jury of 6. So, all right, waiting for pizza to get here. Make sure no slices are missing, Virginia. That's very important. We are in Thurston County, Washington. This little trial should be a one-day trial. The judge says he's 99% sure it should be a one-day trial, and it's.
I think I'm about to catch a whooping.
Krista, you're about to catch a whooping. He said that. Well, this is a trial where the defendant is accused of smoking a little weed and taking a little drive and getting stopped by a little policeman. Oh, I'm not sure if it was a little policeman, but that's what happened. Dream and Landry, love it here. 14 months. I see the LSU love there in your profile picture, and you've got the colors for the hearts as well. Appreciate that. I have leftover pizza to warm up, but I'm not hungry just yet. Do you guys warm up your leftover pizza? Wait, it's time for a poll. It's time for a quick poll. It's going to be probably one of the quickest polls to build. There it is. The poll is up right now. Cold pizza, yes or no? Yes or no? Weigh in. This is important. I'm a big fan of cold pizza myself. There are new docs in the Maya trial. Yes, there are. Oh, my goodness. We'll have to read them. I have not. Mathis is trying to get me to read them as well. I've just not had time. We've been frantically running around doing everything else, including the flood in the basement and the roof leaking. Speaking of phone calls, hang on.
Call from
exclamation point seat.
Donnie, what's up?
Well, I was sitting behind you in the front row, exclamation point seat, me and Jennifer Jupiter. Mm-hmm. And she constantly, in the other stream, constantly texting, using her phone. Nobody's coming over, nobody's saying anything. I was just wondering if you could just show it. We're right behind you. You could just tell her to knock it off.
I'll go over the rules again for everyone's benefit, if that helps.
All right, thank you. We're right behind you, Jennifer Jupiter. All
right, bye. Donnie, you're ratting out Jennifer using the phone in the court of public opinion. I'm not even. Is Jennifer even here? Let's see. Jennifer, did you hear that? Let's see. Donnie's telling on you. Let's see. We got a tut-tut. That's funny. Give me a second. I'm still trying to watch for this court. It's supposed to start any minute now, and it has not yet. They're now 10 minutes late. So we'll see. We're in Thurston County District Court number 4 today. Greeners comes in and says the internet doesn't run itself. Greeners, congratulations. You were first in chat this afternoon. Completely forgot. I'm so used to seeing your name there at the top of the list. I just thought everything's normal. Everything's good. I've got nothing to do here. So Greeners, I realize you are running the internet today. You took over without me telling you because you knew the job and you just stepped in and went to work. So thank you very much. First in chat gets punished with internet ownership every time. Kim, is it Schwint? I need pickles because the politics are killing me. Love everyone here. 12 months. Kim, thank you very much. Love the truck. Look at that truck. So I can't see it well enough to know if that's a Kenworth or a Peterbilt. I can't. I don't know. I can tell you it's not a Mercedes, but a beautiful looking truck. Hot pizza with cheese dripping, says Vivian Anderson. I'm not against hot pizza. I mean, if I have my preference, hot pizza is good. But when you're done with pizza, but the pizza's not done. Does that make sense? You keep your leftovers because pizza should not be thrown away. And leftovers only last for a few minutes anyway, until you get your second wind, and then it's like, do I reheat the pizza or do you eat it cold? Josh, this is the only place pineapple belongs. Other than that, maybe on a postcard from Hawaii. Other than that, it belongs on a pizza. Always reheat. Angela says, we had guests today at work. They were here for Engineer Summit. That summit is sponsored by one of the most hated companies in Europe right now. Oh, nice. So you got to play host to the unliked people. Reheated pizza is gross. I hate cold pizza. Is it a difference? Five little stones. First of all, firearms training. That's awesome. Is there a difference between putting it in like a heater and to put it in the microwave? Because I think microwave reheated pizza is gross. But is there a way to reheat the pizza that is not gross? Air fryer? Air fryer. I don't have one. If I had an air fryer, reheated pizza is almost as good as out of the oven. Okay, air fryer. You guys, I think, don't tell Mrs. R.A. this. She's on vacation. Well, she's not vacation. She's on a field trip, so she's not watching. Because I know, because she doesn't have a phone. There's no way for her to watch right now. I'm thinking of getting an air fryer, but would it be wrong of me to get one for her? Probably not a Christmas present, but when Black Friday rolls around and everything, could I make the argument, let's get an air fryer for you because it will make your life better in XYZ ways? It's for me. I mean, I'll admit this right now, but would it be wrong to make the argument that it's for her? I don't have an air fryer. How do you survive? It's miserable. It's miserable, Angela. We had an air fryer in our Airbnb in Layton when we were there for a month in Utah, and I loved it. I was making everything I possibly could. I nearly did fried eggs in it. I mean, it was everything I could I put in the air fryer. It was beautiful. We have an Instant Pot, but it's not an air fryer. It's just the Instant Pot. They had a Ninja brand Instant Pot air fryer combo, which is basically what you're saying here, Rose of Thorns. And it was really good. It's wrong, says Apple Treasure. It's a family present. They're phenomenal. She'll use it and love it. It's not for her. Bad idea. Is this on par with getting her a vacuum for her anniversary or something like that? Is it that bad, or is it a forgivable offense? Just say the kitchen needed an upgrade. The kitchen is her realm, though. She that's where she that's her area. Everything's better in the air fryer. I love appliances as gifts. So we've got a lot of mixed opinions here. I'm just not sure. I think I'm going to get one. Josh Hutchings, Air Fryer Fund. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate that, my friend. Kim R comes in, says the Emerald 360 6-in-1 air fryer is the bomb. So now I need to do a quick Google here. Let's go to Amazon because they're the search engine of choice for me. Emerald 360. Oh, wow. That looks amazing. Kim, this one looks amazing. Dual zone. Is it the Emerald Leguesse? Dual zone 360 air fryer oven combo with French door 25 quart extra large cook 2 foods in different ways. Up to 60% faster from frozen to finish. Then you also have just the Emerald 26 quart extra large air fryer convection toaster oven with French doors stainless steel. This looks good. I mean, not just is it good, but it like looks good. Like it would be like this is an addition on the counter that we'd like to present. I mean, they're cooking like a turkey in the thing. I can make. They have a rotisserie chicken attachment. I could make my own rotisserie chickens. Kim, you're onto something. I like the French door. I like the French door one. I'm all over that. Oven toaster works great. Mine's from 1975. Emerald Leguesse, he's a famous Italian chef. Really? I thought it was like they randomized a name and said, this is what we're going to call our product. Emerald uses a Ninja, though. They also make liners so you don't have to clean up the air fryer every time. Hallelujah. I tell you, the liner in a crock pot, which is basically like a garbage bag, I think. It's similar to a garbage bag. That's a game changer. I love those. I cook everything. Seriously, just put the pizza in a skillet on the stovetop. You do not need an air fryer for the cold pizza. The Emerald thing sounds cool, though. I think he's getting that one. I think so as well. I've wanted that French door one for a while, and there's a couple different versions, but I'm watching like videos of people pulling food out of the air fryer. It just looks amazing. It just looks incredible. Man. Dual zone 360 air fryer. So if you go with the dual zone, first of all, it costs like half as much as like a brand new washing machine. Can you take the divider out of the... Yes, you can. Bingo. Sold. I like that one. Okay, I'm going to... Oh, the pork roast. It's got the rotisserie bit. Have the rotisserie attachment but never used it. How can you not make rotisserie chicken if you have the option? You can always say it's for the kids so they can learn how to cook easy meals like home ec class. Got the one with the grill on top and I love it. Still no cord out of Thurston. Just got here. We shopping for air fryers. Debbie, apparently I am. How much does the beast cost? This one is $284, but I'm thinking when you get to Black Friday, everything goes on sale. That's why I like buying appliances on Black Friday. There are going to be all sorts of steals and deals, and because plus they're also going to release like the newest, best, and greatest model, and so all the old ones go down in price. So that's why I'm thinking of Black Friday is like the perfect time for a gift, and it's soon, right? September, October, November. Yeah, it's like next month, isn't it?
I saw
a chicken.
I saw a chicken.
Rotisserie chicken. Make sure you measure the cabinet height for where you want to use it first. I love my air fryer, but don't use it half the time because it doesn't fit in my counters. We've designed ours. It will fit. It will fit. Mrs. R.A. got to choose her kitchen. This is her dream kitchen. It was her worst nightmare kitchen when I bought the house. But luckily, due to my child destroying the kitchen with a flood and nearly a fire, we got to rebuild the entire kitchen. And it was terrible 6 months without a kitchen, but now that we have a kitchen, it's everything she wanted, like ever. We've got the granite countertops. We did everything. She's never had a good kitchen. She's always hated it. We've had the galley kitchen that she didn't like because, two people can't even walk by each other in the one we had. We've had small kitchens. We've redone cabinets in one, but it's just wasn't room. No pantry. Now she has the kitchen. Don't be tempted, but Prime Day deals are the 8th and 9th of this month. So I have a week, Josh. Do you have an Ollie's? We do have an Ollie's. I've only been there like twice. Crock-pots. I'm a big fan of crock-pots because not only do you get delicious food, but you get like the wonderful aroma in the house of the cooking delicious food. And the flavors, softness of meats, unbelievable. Roasts in the crock-pot, it can't be beat. But for faster food, the air fryer is where it's at. All right, I'm going to end the poll for the pizza because it's time. It's time to end the poll. I'm going to stop looking at air fryers for just a minute. Let's see. Cold pizza, the answer was yes, 57%, no, 42%. So a little divided, but most of us are in the right. Yay for Miss Ari's Dream Kitchen. She loves it. Her thing was she makes bread, she makes cookies, she makes cinnamon rolls. She wants countertops where she can take something out of the oven and not have to find something to rest it on. She can just take a hot pan and set it on the granite countertop, and it's not a problem. Need to start a community recipe book. I think Mrs. R.A. needs to. I've tried to encourage her in this area. She wants countertops without tractor parts on them. Greeners, I get to put things on the countertop as well. Oh, Tez. You got to do it right. You've got to do it right. The trick is it's all in the seasoning and putting the right things in to get the aroma and the flavor. And it's good. A pork roast in the crock pot. Okay. Still waiting for trial to start. Might have started. I just can't see it. Then again, the defendant might not have shown up, so we might be out of luck on this one. We'll keep an eye on this. The guy better not have taken a plea deal, says Josh. These sort of things happen sometimes. White chicken chili in the crock pot. I've never made white chicken chili. I've eaten it a couple times. I really enjoyed it. Dan Dockett says, I'm making dinner as we speak, and now I want pizza. Do we have a name for the defendant? I didn't hear his name. They said it a couple times, but it didn't stick with me. Maybe the charges are dropped. Could be the jury didn't show up, including the alternate. Check what's happening in the other courts. Lacey's live. Court 1. Oh, sorry, that's Court 2. Court 1. We've got District Court and Court 3 we can jump in on just temporarily while we wait. Let's see. Let's jump in here while we wait. You guys seeing this full
Okay.
screen? Okay.
I do not yet see that in front of me. That's because it is sitting next to me in paper form. My clerk is way too efficient. She already had it there.
Josh, thanks for the super chat.
Mr. Fryland,
Also, Kim, thank you for the huge super chat as well.
I have a document in front of me titled Statement of Defendant on Plea of Guilty, and it is to negligent driving in the first degree. Did you have an opportunity to go over this with your attorney?
I have, Your Honor.
And were all your questions answered?
Yes, they were.
You have some rights here, such as the right to a speedy trial, the right to hear and question witnesses, the right to testify or remain silent, the right to be presumed innocent, and the right to appeal a finding of guilt after a trial. You understand if I accept this document, you are giving up those trial rights?
Yes.
There's a recommendation here. 90 days, all 90 suspended, $1,000, all, well, apparently up to the court, how much is suspended, 12 months probation, alcohol and drug evaluation plus any follow-up treatment, victim impact panel, no criminal law violations, no driving without a valid license, and insurance, no driving with a BAC above 0.08 or THC above 5 nanograms, no refusals of breath or blood test, no driving without an ignition airlock if the Department of Licensing requires it, no alcohol, marijuana, or non-prescribed drugs, and no bars or taverns. Is that your understanding of the recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand I don't have to follow that recommendation. I could sentence you to anything up to the maximum for this offense.
I just realized
Yes,
Charles
Your
has a Super Mario shirt on. Charles is a gamer. This way we can see people's names.
Okay, with all of that in mind, how do you plead to negligent driving, first degree?
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
Has anyone made any threats or any promises except what's in this document to get you to make that plea?
No.
There's a statement here says on or about March 10th of this year in Thurston County, Washington, you drove a motor vehicle in a manner that was negligent and endangered or was likely to endanger property after you had consumed some alcohol. Specifically, you were speeding after drinking alcohol and there were other vehicles in the roadway. Is that a true statement?
Yes.
And never know if you are able to see this, especially if I don't have my personal video turned on. Is that your signature?
Yes, that is my signature.
Okay. I did already accept your plea, find it was made knowingly and voluntarily with full understanding of the consequences, and that there is a factual basis, and I am signing that plea now. Having accepted it, sounds as though there is going to be a motion from the state to dismiss the driving without.
Yes, Your Honor. The state's moving to dismiss count 2, driving while license suspended in the third degree.
Thank you. And I will hear from the state on their recommendation.
The state just asked this court to follow the agreed upon recommendation. The state believes that it's a fair and appropriate resolution to the matter.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Kaputnik?
Thank you, Your Honor. I also ask that you follow the agreed recommendation. This has been substantially negotiated between the parties. At this point, the state did not make any sort of suggestion about what type of fine they're going to be asking for. I would ask that you take into consideration Mr. Dohenia's personal financial position. He disclosed to us that he's currently working part-time and going to school part-time. The majority of his income does go towards living expenses. I don't anticipate that he will have a significant amount of money to put towards court fines. So I ask that you take that into consideration and potentially waive or reduce his fines. This is a matter that he's taken very seriously. This is a first DUI-related offense for him. He was very proactive, hired our office right away. He's already completed his alcohol and drug evaluation. It recommended an alcohol and drug information school, which he has since completed. He has also completed the DUI Victims Impact Panel. We did file those documents with the court yesterday. If for any reason they need us to file those again, I'm happy to send them over. I don't anticipate this court is ever going to see him back here again for a driving related offense. He's currently not driving. He has just made the decision to not drive. And I know that is going to ensure that he never puts himself in this position ever again. So I just ask that you follow the recommendation and again, take into consideration what the information I provided with regards to fines. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I do see ADIS and the impact panel. I am not, at least not immediately, seeing an evaluation. Oh, perhaps down there, just a second. I looked right past it. I do see that as well. Okay.
Francis, we're waiting for the jury trial to start, if it will. Fingers crossed. This is also Thurston, different court.
Mr. Dohenia, you have the right to address the court before I announce any sentence. You don't have to say anything, but this is your opportunity if there's anything that you would like me to consider.
Good morning, Your Honor. I did take the time to reflect on the mistakes I have made. It's definitely something that I don't wish upon myself nor anyone else. Never thought I'd be in this situation. It's been stressful time in my life with everything going on, but I hope I never get in this situation again. Thank you for taking the time. And that's all I have, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
It wasn't the worst statement he could make.
I join you in hoping you never wind up in this situation again. And okay.
I think he could have expressed remorse a little bit better, but that was, I mean, it sounds like he's taken all the right steps. So I think the judge will go really easy on him. I think he's got a good lawyer that's arguing for him as well, really presented his case well.
Okay, well, I have dismissed the driving while license suspended in the third with prejudice. I've imposed 90 days on the negligent driving and suspended all 90 days. Given your financial circumstances, I have not imposed a fine. I strongly considered at least a minimal fine, but then I heard you had already completed all of the affirmative duties and decided, given your responsibility in that regard and your low finances, I think perhaps you've already addressed everything and hopefully that we won't see you back in here again. So I didn't impose a fine. I am leaving you out on your own recognizance because I'm not imposing any jail time today. So I'm just out of trouble. There won't be any. I am, however, putting you on monitored probation, which just means they'll check the records, make sure that you don't have any other offenses. You don't have to check in or anything like that. There is a $60 probation fee, $43 conviction fee. And for the next year, you're not to commit a criminal law violation. You're not to drive without an ignition interlock if the Department of Licensing is requiring one. Not to go to any bars or taverns. Not to drive without a valid license or insurance. Don't consume any alcohol, marijuana, or non-prescribed drugs.
Is he frozen?
And don't refuse a breath or blood test if one is requested.
I think he's frozen.
You will need, even though you've already completed them, I still am ordering that you complete the victim's impact panel and substance use evaluation and a follow-up treatment. I am also indicating that all of these are already on file.
And Your Honor, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I think we may have lost Mr. Dohenya off Zoom.
Let's see if we can. See if we can get him back in here quickly. But I am just going to, since I'm not seeing him already logging back in, I'm going to recall his matter, and I may have to backtrack a little bit just to make sure he's in full understanding of my orders.
Okay, we've got
Understood, Your Honor. He just called our office, said he got somehow kicked out of the Zoom meeting.
Got kicked out. Sorry, sir, you got kicked out. We're going to go right over here. Thurston County 4 is live.
And good morning, everyone. Please have a seat.
Just in time.
And thank you, jurors, for being here this morning.
Here's our trial.
We just had some technical difficulties, nobody's fault, which led to a slight delay in getting started this morning. I apologize for that. So thank you for your patience.
It's always somebody's
fault. And we're now going to proceed with opening arguments, and then you'll hear from some witnesses. We will take some breaks in between. I'll try to keep them short, but just make sure everybody is comfortable. So with that said, counsel, for the prosecution, you can proceed with your opening statement.
Yes, Your Honor.
These opening statements are always short in Thurston. There's no pompous speech here.
Good morning. This is a case about common sense. And you as jurors will be asked to use your common sense while you listen to the evidence, listen to the witnesses, and then ultimately return a verdict. This case is simple and straightforward. Everard David Gondo, the defendant, is charged with count 1, driving under the influence, and count 2, driving while license suspended in the 3rd degree. Today, you'll hear testimony from several witnesses. First, you will hear from Trooper Carter Schick. Trooper Schick will explain that on March 28th, 2021, around midnight, she was on duty. She was wearing her department-issued uniform and driving her fully marked patrol vehicle. She was located on the right shoulder of the roadway on northbound I-5 near Nisqually Road in Thurston County, Washington. Her speed radar device measured a vehicle in lane 3 of 3 traveling at over 90 miles per hour in a 60 miles per hour zone. Aside from its notably excessive speed, this vehicle stood out to Trooper Schick as she followed it because of its jerky motions. She activated her emergency lights and watched a vehicle, later identified as a Nissan SUV, which had a delayed reaction while merging onto the right shoulder of the roadway. Trooper Schick will testify that she observed 2 occupants in that vehicle. While at the window of the vehicle, she requested the driver roll down his window. As the driver rolled down his window, Trooper Schick instantly smelled a strong and obvious odor of marijuana from the vehicle.
A cloud of smoke billowed out.
She asked the driver to provide his license, registration, and proof of insurance. Trooper Schick will testify that the defendant had a difficult time gathering the documents as his movements were slow. She will also testify that she observed the defendant to have bloodshot eyes during this contact. Trooper Schick will testify that during the stop, the defendant said he hadn't smoked marijuana in the last 4 hours.
He was still
Trooper
exhaling.
Schick identified the defendant driver as Evrard D. Gondo by his driver's license. The defendant voluntarily performed the standardized field sobriety tests. You will hear that the defendant performed poorly on these sobriety tests. At this point, Trooper Schick observed that same strong and obvious odor of marijuana permeate from the defendant's person. And back inside her patrol vehicle, Trooper Schick conducted a driver's check of the defendant's driver's license. You'll hear that Trooper Schick discovered that the defendant's driver's license status was marked as suspended revoked. Trooper Schick cleared the scene and transported the defendant to Capital Medical Center, where she applied for and successfully received a search warrant from a judge to obtain 2 samples of the defendant's blood. You will also hear that Trooper Schick observed phlebotomist Susanna B. Craig obtain 2 vials of the defendant's blood. You will hear that Trooper Schick observed the phlebotomist then properly clean the area with soap and water. She will testify that the blood vials were issued by the Washington State Patrol and were unexpired, vacuum sealed, gray topped, and both vials contained the necessary anticoagulant powder. Finally, Trooper Schick will testify that she sealed the vials with evidence tape and entered the vials into the Washington State Patrol's evidence system for analysis before concluding her shift. She then properly requested toxicology testing for blood results. The state will also call another witness, a toxicologist, Darlene Valencia. Toxicologist Valencia will testify that she properly received the blood vials, marked them under guidelines complying with the Washington Administrative Code. She will testify that she meticulously analyzed these blood samples, which produced results. Relying on her expert knowledge, the toxicologist will describe the effects of marijuana on the human body and how that affects a person's ability to drive a car. The toxicologist will also explain the significance of those same field sobriety tests as indicators of impairment. And finally, the state will call witness Faith Chapman, a representative of the Washington Department of Licensing. Ms. Chapman will testify that a certified copy of the defendant, Mr. Gondo's driving record proves that on or about March 28th, 2021, Mr. Gondo's driver's license was in fact suspended. Now, folks, there's a lot of information that you'll take in today, a lot of which may be dry and tedious, but please be patient. You're going to hear defense counsel talk a lot about reasonable doubt today. And reasonable doubt is a constitutional presumption of evidence, but it has nothing to do with the evidence in a particular case. This presumption protects the defendant from a finding of guilt that is not supported by the facts. But reasonable doubt cannot shield the defendant from the evidence itself. And it's my job to overcome that presumption by presenting evidence to you folks, the jury. And I'm confident that by the end of the day, I'll overcome that presumption of innocence as you hear and see all of the evidence. This case is about common sense, plain and simple. And I'm confident that after all the evidence has been heard, the statements from witnesses and the documents that the state will seek to admit, you as a jury will certainly be convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant drove while under the influence of marijuana and drove while his license was in fact suspended. So at the end of the day, at the end of this trial, I will ask you all to return a verdict of guilty as to both counts. Thank you.
Do you want to count references to marijuana, smoke, weed,
Right.
THC,
Counsel for the defense,
anything like that?
You can
Does that
proceed
work?
with your opening when you're ready.
Good morning. I hate it. These things are far back. So you are going to hear a lot today about far back.
We're going to start after the opening statements.
I'm a Washington State Patrol trooper and a Washington State Patrol toxicologist. But what you'll also hear from the judge And in the instructions that we see is that it's legal to consume marijuana in the state of Washington. It's legal to drive and consume marijuana in the state of Washington. What matters is how the marijuana is effective. That's why we're here today.
In the state of Washington, it's legal to smoke and drive. Smoke weed and
What we're
drive.
asking is that you listen to all the evidence that is presented today. We're also asking that you listen for the evidence that you don't.
Listen
We
for the
ask
evidence you
that
don't
jury
hear.
room, We ask to talk amongst each other, and it's your job to determine if Mr. Kondo is in fact under the influence of intoxicants, marijuana. If he was driving without a valid license in the ability to brake. I thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. I think you most welcome this. It's hard. It's a hard job.
It's a hard job to be a juror. It's even harder to hear the defense attorney when she doesn't stand at the microphone. Okay, she's done.
Thank you, counsel.
Red shoes,
so
back
those
to
opening
defense.
statements didn't take long, so I think we're not going to take a break before our first witness if we're ready to go.
Yes, Your Honor. The state's ready to proceed with its first witness.
Okay, let's go ahead and call the first witness. Then.
Okay. The state will be calling Carter Schick.
Great, thank you.
This is the police officer who made the stop. With a little luck, we should get a camera on her. Please, 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 Judge.
Good morning.
Be all over this, please.
Will you please state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Yes, my first name is Carter and my last name is Schick, Schick.
Okay. And how are you presently employed?
I'm with the Washington State Patrol, currently employed, and it's called Executive Protection with Governor Inslee and his family.
Okay. Were you previously a trooper for the Washington State Patrol?
Correct, and I still am, but just in a different vicinity.
Okay. So how long have you been employed with the Washington State Patrol?
Since 2020.
Okay. And what training did you receive to become a trooper?
I did the standard training within the academy. It's roughly about a year. And then before that, I served almost 7 years in the military.
Can you describe that standard training for a Washington State Patrol trooper?
Yeah, so you do about 8 months at the academy where you learn basic driving techniques. You learn about intoxication, the different laws of the state of Washington. Then you spend about
I'm recording the
3
Kentucky
months,
thing right now. I've got
walking
that
the
on
road as a
record.
trooper under the supervision of what's called a coach, who's like an actual commissioned trooper.
We're gonna pause this. We're gonna pause this one because I want to see if we can take the Kentucky thing live. We do have the sheriff who. Give me just 1 second. Run to A. Okay, let's see if we can take this live. Just 1 second. Do we have any audio? This is the case where the sheriff has shot and killed the judge in chambers. People are just filing in right now. Let's see, actually, let me take it on 2 because we're watching it on replay right now. So you're a third of a second behind everybody else. But if we rewind just really quickly, I was going to show you the defendant as he came in, which is right. Right here. Here we go. There's our defendant. He's the sheriff, or was the sheriff. The guy in cuffs there. There's your guy. This court is obviously set up for a Zoom court with the monitors there. In cuffs, pocket full of papers. He's in the jail scrubs. Pretty nice chairs. Nice pat on the back from the attorney. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. No audio yet. This is just a hearing. This is an early hearing. Ooh, got people filming in court. Didn't know that was allowed. But apparently so in Kentucky. And we're going to jump up to the Commonwealth of Kentucky. What do you call it? The state seal here in just a second. Still no audio from court. Is that security? You got ear fungus in the one guy. I think it's security. Like U.S. Marshals or something. I don't know what that's all about. But jump into current time. He's just observing everything. This is the sheriff. This is a scene he's probably very familiar with, but not from the vantage point that he now occupies. So we're waiting for the judge and everyone else to come in. I think we've got roughly 10 minutes. Just a little background on this. This was wild. This came across the wire just like as breaking news. Nobody had heard anything about this story aside from locals who knew a little bit about a tuft or a beef that had been between the sheriff and others. Wow. So locals are interested in that. Quite a few there. Apparently the sheriff was accused of something, or a deputy was accused of something. There's a relationship that was inappropriate that was going on somewhere. I think it was with one of his deputies, and it blew up. It blew up. Rumors. I don't think. I know there's some rumors involving the judge. I don't think that was the case. I think it was a deputy that had been involved in possibly a relationship with someone underage, and the allegation was that the sheriff was taking heat because he didn't fix the problem. We're going to hear probably over as time. I'm not sure how we're going to get today, but as time progresses, we're going to get the facts of that flushed out. But whatever it was, there were hard feelings between the sheriff and the judge. And I believe he resigned the day before he walked into the judge's chambers in the courthouse and shot and killed the judge. And then here he is. So now he's going to be on trial, or possibly going to have to plead, because he has the opportunity to plead guilty here. It doesn't necessarily mean a trial. But, well, yeah, we want to hear the real story for sure. The sheriff was formerly a bailiff and a good friend of the judge. There was an argument, and then he shot him. It's not a question of who done it at this point, I believe. But, let's see. Still waiting for audio. We have none yet. As soon as something happens, we'll bring it to you. Just waiting for the judge. I believe all these gentlemen in the blue suit tops with the gray pants, I believe those are all going to be courthouse security bailiffs. From the looks of things, I'd guess that they're mostly retired law enforcement. Oh, he hasn't resigned, but Andy Bescher says he will force him out if he doesn't. He pled not guilty at last court date. Yes, but that's like it happens for everybody. Like a not guilty plea is entered on your behalf or early on in the trial. He retired yesterday. Okay, he retired yesterday, not the day before. Or resigned yesterday. Hypnotizes lobsters. I don't want to put your comment on the screen, but that's the closest story that I've heard as being the truth. We're still waiting for all the facts. I need to get verification. I'd like to see it in court documents, ideally. If this goes to trial, this could be a spicy, spicy, spicy trial, for sure. Very personal. Helena Handbasket says the sheriff was in a deposition with the lady's attorney that is suing the sheriff's office. He found out some stuff during the depo and left to meet with the judge, looked at the judge's cell phone, and then shot. Wow. Small town, everyone knows everyone. Yeah, there's going to be some words said here if this all comes to light. I mean, if he just pleads guilty and then they go straight to sentencing, the happenings behind this case are not going to come out. If he thought that he was doing the right thing, in the sense of justice because of what was going on, there's a good chance that he will fight this all the way through court, and this would be very, very public, because he's basically going to come out and say, "I did what I had to do." So that's going to be quite. It's going to be quite wild if that happens. About 4 more minutes, 3 more minutes. Everyone's getting waters. He's lawyered up. And here's what I'd see. When you lawyer up like this, you don't lawyer up to plead guilty. Right? You might lawyer up a little bit to see if you can get a plea deal, but he's got a team there. I think he's going to fight this one. We might get to go to trial. I might have to go to Kentucky. I might have to go to Kentucky on this one. It's going to be a good trial. It's going to be, first of all, I think it's going to have some very alarming facts in it. Kentucky's not far away. I can get there in a day. If I deadhead it, I can get there. I could get there in 1 day. You can't have a reasonable defense. Rocky, I would be surprised. I would say you may be surprised. Generally, committing murder is never okay, especially if you're not threatened. So I'd say I don't think we're going to hear anything that shows that he did this in self-defense where this was justifiable. But once we start getting into the crime of passion area, or there's some laws in the books that basically say, okay, yeah, it wasn't right, but in this circumstance, it's not treated as harshly as just a cold-blooded murder. If it's to do with daughter, then it might be looked at differently, definitely. And we don't know yet. Don't know. Okay. I've got my replay. We're recording this so we can jump back and watch anything. If you guys see something that looks interesting or alarming or, hey, did you catch that? Let me know. We're going to watch on the replay. Myron says, this case will be very spicy, Scott, and it will go to trial, in my opinion. Ari once again narrowly escaped saying something he regrets. The two men standing in the aisle would be bailiffs. I think some courts have uniformed bailiffs and civilian bailiffs. These appear to be civilian bailiffs. I'm not trying to be,
Morgan District Court is now in session with the Honorable Rupert Billoy. Thank you, sir. You may be seated.
They're older people. I think they're retired. So they're probably retired law enforcement. Right on time. I love this.
We'll call the case of Commonwealth versus Sean Steins, 24F 147, on for preliminary hearing. Is the Commonwealth ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the defense ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, call your first witness.
Commonwealth's Clayton Stamper.
All right, click. Mr. Stamper, if you would. Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Is this like walnut? That's a deep, like cherry stain on walnut.
Clayton Stanford.
And how you spell your name?
ClaytonStamper.
Joe, how are you employed?
I'm sorry.
How are you employed?
I'm a detective with the Kentucky State Police assigned to Post 13 Hazard.
How long have you been employed in that capacity?
I've been with KSP a little over 24 years, detective since 2006.
And have you, in the performance of your duties as detective with the police, have you investigated the death of Kevin Mullins?
Yes, sir, I did.
And can you tell us on what date that was?
It was September 19th, 2024.
In investigation of that death, were you able to determine who killed Kevin Mullins?
Yes.
And how were you able to do that?
Video surveillance footage.
And did you retrieve that video surveillance footage?
I did.
You know, at this time, the company moved to play video footage.
All right. We're going straight to the video footage. Wow.
Yes, approach the bench.
Object and approach. They're objecting to the video footage being played. Probably objecting based on the there's no testimony been laid about the video footage, where the video's from, the security system, the cameras that captured it, how it's recorded, things like that. Judge, let's see where he decides on this one. Looks like they're going to show the video anyway. Got to keep it off the internet. The jury isn't picked yet. Canonical Heat gifted 10 memberships. Thank you, my friend. This is the sheriff that shot the judge. It's the reverse of the I shot the sheriff. Yeah. This is a very fancy courtroom. This case is way too close to home. Canonical Heat, you going to be visiting the courtroom? I believe this is a hearing to see if there's enough evidence to proceed to trial. So a preliminary hearing. They're calling witnesses. They're playing evidence. It's abbreviated format. You're not going to see like experts testify in this point. It's just enough to say, do we have enough to go to trial?
You ready to proceed?
All
right, go ahead.
Are we going to show it? We get a side view? Are you serious? Through his head. Oh, come on. What the? What? Oh.
Is that a portion of the video? Yes, and were you able to identify the parties we saw in that video?
That was Sheriff Mickey Steins and Judge Kevin Mullins.
And also, who had the firearm?
Sheriff Steins.
And then Judge was also in his black robe.
Yes.
Do you know what portion of the courthouse that is?
That is the judge's chambers.
And where's that located at, physically located?
In the Letcher County Courthouse.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Would you like to cross-examine the witness?
I would, Your Honor.
That was a short clip that was played there. How long do you believe that clip was?
That we just watched?
Yes, sir.
Just 10 seconds, 15 seconds.
I'm recounting the shots.
In fact, the video that was taken in the judge's chambers between the meeting between Sheriff Steins and Judge Mullins, it's my understanding that video lasted much longer, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And have you had an opportunity to review the video
I have.
Of the prior incident?
I have.
And can you describe for us what happened immediately prior to the clip that we saw?
Sheriff Steins uses his telephone to make some phone calls. He then borrows Judge Mullins' cell phone and appears to make a call on that. And that led to what you just saw.
Okay. So it's my understanding there were some people who were having a meeting with Judge Mullins prior to the sheriff's entry into the chambers. Is that correct?
Yes.
Have you identified those witnesses?
I don't know the names of them. There's about approximately 4 people in there. Then Sheriff Steins enters the judge's chambers and everybody else clears out.
You don't know their names?
Not right off, no.
Have you prepared a report?
In the process, yes.
You're in the process of preparing a report?
Yes, a lot of information.
But you've not spoken to any of those witnesses?
I've not directly, but they've all been interviewed. There's recorded interviews of those people in the case.
Okay, so other officers have spoken with those 4 witnesses?
Yes.
And what is your understanding of what those 4 witnesses have said?
I don't recall.
You have no idea what they said?
No.
I want to make sure I understand. Had there been a hearing previously this day in chambers?
In the courtroom?
No, in chambers.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And so there's a video camera that is running in the district judge's chambers. Is that on all the time?
It's my understanding, yes.
Okay. Have you spoken with anyone about why that may be?
No. I mean, there's cameras throughout the courthouse.
Well, fair enough, but
in chambers?
Are you familiar with district judges' chambers normally, how they're set up?
No. I mean, some of them have video surveillance and some don't.
Right, but
this one does.
Generally, when they have surveillance, you agree with me that that is utilized when there is a proceeding going on in chambers, correct?
It could be, yes.
Okay. And I mean, I'm just asking, so this video didn't have an audio recording to it, correct?
No, there's no audio.
Outside of once the 4 people that were inside that we don't know their names, once these 4 people had left the chambers, were they in an area adjacent where they could hear anything that was going on?
Yes, I believe some of them did remain in the next room.
Okay. And what did they tell us?
Do what?
What did they hear?
I've not been part. I wasn't part of those interviews.
Okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, you're prepared for a preliminary hearing on a murder, and there are witnesses in an adjacent room.
I mean, they heard gunshots.
Now, put my question, please.
That's the question.
Thank you.
Spicy.
So you are investigating a murder and testifying in a preliminary hearing, and there are witnesses who may have overheard what preceded this edited clip, yet you can't tell us today anything that they said?
I've not personally listened to those interviews. I've talked to the other officers that did those interviews.
Fair enough. And I mean, we're here at a preliminary hearing, as you know, that you You can testify to hearsay. I'm asking you what they said.
They heard gunshots.
Okay. Was there any statements that they overheard?
No.
Were there raised voices?
One person stated that she didn't recognize him as being Judge Mullen's voice, but heard somebody say, "Help, help."
Presumably that will be after the firearm was drawn or shot.
Objection, Your Honor.
I withdraw, Judge.
Withdraw.
So, is there any testimony that you can give us today about any statements or arguments or the content of that argument prior to the shooting?
No.
Okay. I want to ask generally, so did you process the scene? Are you the lead investigator on this case?
I am.
Okay, so as a lead investigator, I would presume that you would have secured the chambers and evidence once you arrived.
I was part of that, yes.
You were part of it, right? But you're the lead investigator, so you'd be in charge of those duties and delegating what should be done. Is that fair?
No, I don't delegate what's done.
Okay, so you're the lead investigator. What does that mean?
I'm the case officer.
Okay, so you're carrying the case. So I want to make sure I understand. Had Judge Mullen's been removed from chambers when you arrived?
No.
Were you able to ascertain, did he have a firearm on his person?
We did not locate one.
You did not locate one?
No, there was not one in the chambers.
Okay. And there was none on his person?
No.
Okay. All right. Who was the first person to arrive on behalf of law enforcement to investigate?
They were already in the courthouse.
Fair enough, but I'm talking about in terms of people that we may see a report from or take part in this investigation. Who would be the first?
Why is this witness so
I believe
hedgy?
Trooper Jason Bates was the first KSP personnel on scene.
Kansas State or
And
Kentucky
you spoke
State Police.
with him, and he.
I did.
And he searched and did not locate a firearm.
No, he didn't search the scene. No.
His
role at that point was security of the scene.
I understand, but I'm just trying to ascertain. You said earlier that there was no firearm found.
No.
I'm wanting to know, can you tell us, was it specifically searched for a firearm?
In the judge's chambers?
Yes, sir.
There was myself, Detective Chris Collins, Detective Scott Caudle, Detective Eric Caldwell. That's all I recall right now.
Okay, but I'm trying to understand. So who searched specifically for a firearm?
We all did.
And that was specifically something you looked for?
Yes.
Fair enough. Okay.
Wow.
Of course, your investigation, did you ascertain that prior in the day there had been a lunch meeting between Sheriff Stein and Judge Mullen?
There was.
Pardon?
There was.
Okay. Sorry, I couldn't hear your response. I wasn't being trite. So where did this take place?
It's a restaurant called Street Side, and it's just down the street from the courthouse.
Okay.
This
And
happened less than 2 weeks
it's
ago.
my understanding there were a couple of other people who attended the luncheon.
There were several, yes.
Okay. And at some point after that, they wrapped up lunch and left, obviously, and went back to the courthouse. Are you aware of anything so far in your investigation that would tell us there was any issues at lunch between Judge Mullins and Sheriff Steins?
No.
Okay. But someone on behalf of the KSP has spoken to those witnesses?
Yes, they've all been interviewed.
And there was nothing unusual that had arisen during that luncheon?
I was told that the judge made a statement to Mickey about, do we need to meet private in my chambers? That's all I was told.
Do you know the context of
I do
what
not.
the conversation was before that they would need to discuss in chambers?
I do not.
So So it's my understanding that in the larger portion of the video that we haven't had access to, that there is a point when Sheriff Steins asked for to see the telephone of Judge Mullins.
Yes.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And I would presume that you and the other officers you mentioned, when you secured the scene, that you secured those phones as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
And have you reviewed both of those phones?
They're currently at the forensic lab at this time being downloaded. I have had discussions with the people at the lab regarding the downloads.
And those are a couple of other questions that I was going to ask you, but my original question was, have you reviewed or are you aware of the content of the phones?
I've not personally seen it because I've not received those reports yet.
Okay, again, based upon your conversations with the officers, are you aware of any recent content that was up and could have been relevant at the time of their discussion?
I was told that Sheriff Steins had tried to call his daughter, and he had tried to call his daughter from the judge's phone also.
So, have you obtained the phone records from Judge Mullins' phone?
I don't have those in my possession yet, no.
Okay. Have you issued a search warrant for them?
Yes.
Okay. And have officers confirmed that the sheriff's daughter's phone number was on Judge Mullins' phone?
Yes, I believe so, yes.
So that number had been called from Judge Mullins' phone?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we don't have a viewing of what transpired during that exchange of phones, but based upon your review of those moments prior to, when Sheriff Steins observes that cell phone, was he previously seated?
Yes.
Okay, so in the clip we saw, he was standing the entire time.
He was seated in front of the judge's desk.
And he looks at the cell phone. What is it? Can you describe his reaction in the video that we haven't seen?
Whose reaction?
Well, the sheriff.
You can't see his face in the video.
Okay. But is it clear that, does it appear to you that, let me rephrase this. Did he stand up after looking at the phone?
He stood up.
And how long after he looked at the cell phone and stood up did this occur that you played?
Just seconds.
Did you make the decision on edits today for what you were going to present? Did you make the edit or determine which portion of the video we were going to see today?
No, sir, I did not.
Both cell phones have been sent to the Kentucky State Police forensic team, is that correct?
Yes.
Have you gotten any early report on what was found?
No.
Were both phones still on the desk when you arrived?
The judge's phone was on the desk. Sheriff Stein's phone was on his person.
Okay. So are there photographs of, was the phone locked at that point or was it still open?
Both of you asking about both of them?
Well, first let's talk about, that's fair. First, I'm talking about Judge Mullins, since it was the one that was still on the desk and presumably nobody touched it prior to you securing it, correct?
No.
So, so would like to know about that. Have you ascertained what was currently open on that cell phone?
No, I don't know at this point, no.
You don't know?
No.
Do you think that would be, important to learn?
I hope to learn that when the report's ready, yes.
Okay. But as of today, you can't tell us what was currently open on the judge's phone?
No, sir.
Did you conduct an interview with Sheriff Stein's daughter?
I did not, but she has been interviewed.
Are you aware of who was present when she was interviewed?
Lieutenant Randy Combs and Detective Anthony Trotter.
She was interviewed with or without her parent?
With.
So her parent was present at the time you interviewed her?
Yes, I believe. I wasn't there, but yes, I think so.
And law enforcement has not spoken to her without her parent present?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Did the Kentucky State Police obtain her phone?
No.
You intend to obtain records for her cell phone number?
Possibly, yes.
Do you believe that that will be soon that you'll do that?
Could be, yes.
Had you already intended to do that, or did you just respond to my question?
Well, the call should be on the judge's records too.
Well, I understand.
And she's made statements about what occurred during those conversations.
I understand that, but I would presume that have you ascertained whether Judge Mullins also had apps that stand outside of phone records?
I've not received those records yet. I don't know what's on the phone.
Well, fair enough, but I mean, did you look at the phone? Did it appear there were apps on it?
I'm not the person that's qualified to look through the phone.
Okay, but you're familiar with cell phones. They can host other forms of communication. Yes, sir.
What's the objection?
He didn't ask the answer, Your Honor. He's asked the question, I think, about 4 or 5 different ways. The officer, the detective repeatedly said that he does not have a report with phones. He's not looking at the phone. He can't testify to that matter.
I'll let him ask the question, and he can only testify what he has personal knowledge about.
Absolutely, yes, sir. Thank you.
Right.
So you're aware that phones can be used for apps such as Facebook?
Yes.
Okay. And that is not something that is captured by cell phone records. You would agree with me?
I agree.
Okay. So in light of that, although the records may be mutually the same, right, the same between Judge Mullins' phone and the sheriff's daughter, do you believe that you could also ascertain other information from the cell phone app content?
Are you asking what apps are on the phone?
Yes. Well, that was my original question.
I don't know I've not received that report yet. I don't know what apps he had downloaded on the phone.
If he has social media apps, do you intend to?
That could lead to additional search warrants, yes.
If you would, officer, please let me finish before you move forward, and I'll try to slow down a little bit as well, okay?
Sure.
Thank you, Trooper.
This thing's going to be fire.
Have you determined whether there were any previous issues, personal or professional, between Sheriff Steins and Judge Mullins?
I've heard things.
What have you heard?
Just that this regarding the lawsuit that the Letcher County Sheriff's Office is currently involved with.
Okay. The lawsuit that involved ultimately a criminal conviction of a deputy for sexual behavior in the judge's chambers. Is that the one you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay. And the subject matter of that lawsuit, the chambers area, that's the same chambers in which this occurred. Is that correct?
I'm not familiar with the details of that case that the lawsuit resulted from.
Okay. Are you aware of any criminal reports that Sheriff Steins had made of Judge Mullins prior to this day?
No.
Did you personally observe Sheriff Steins following this video?
Did I personally observe him? What?
Did you meet with him? Did you talk to him after?
He was in custody when I arrived at the courthouse that afternoon.
And at some point, did you draw any observation about his demeanor?
He was mostly calm, I thought. I mean, I talked to him, but he didn't say nothing about why this had happened, but he was calm. He was kind of afraid that basically all he said was, "Treat me fair." That's basically the comments he made.
Okay. Did he also make a statement about, I didn't see it in the citation here, but somewhere along the line I saw a statement being attributed to him about protecting his family?
I wasn't present, but when he was taken into custody, I was told by one of the other officers that were there that he made the comment, "They're trying to kidnap my wife and kid."
You guys, this is going to be an absolutely unreal trial and a movie when it's done.
This shooting was pre-planned?
No, not at this time.
And would you agree that from what we've seen so far, from the evidence you've seen so far, the shooting was a reaction to what was on that cell phone in that moment? Is that accurate?
Objection, Your Honor. All speculation outside of his scope of expertise.
Your Honor, I believe if he has formed an opinion about the investigation up to this point, especially at a preliminary hearing, he can speculate on that.
Or sustained.
Sure. So, is there anything other than the content of the phone that this video will reveal to us about why this took place?
No.
Does it appear that this took place as a reaction to what was happening in the chambers at that point?
I can say it occurred after a phone call was made. I don't know what was said or nothing like that. But
fair enough, and I'm not asking you the content of any of that, but at this point, is it your theory that whatever that content was in the discussion was the impetus of the shooting?
it could be, but I don't know that for a fact.
Okay. Do you have any evidence up until this point that you have developed that would demonstrate that it was not as a reaction to what was on the phone?
No.
None whatsoever?
No.
Okay. Just if I had just one moment for
I realize we're only 2 weeks into, less than 2 weeks ago this happened. So this is very soon after that. The investigation has a long way to go. They'll do subpoenas for stuff months down the road, typically, in an investigation like this. So it's not surprising that they don't have the daughter's phone right now. But at the same time, so I understand the hesitancy into saying anything or to speculating right now. But I think there's enough evidence to show something might have precipitated this conversation or this interaction that he's not telling us about. And he's being hedgy about that.
Did you attempt to speak to Sheriff Steins at the Leslie County Jail after the incident?
No.
Did anyone from your agency attempt to interview him?
Not to my knowledge, no.
And at that point, had he asserted his right to an attorney or anything?
No.
But nobody went back to try to talk to him or do an interview?
No.
What?
Okay.
He hadn't asked for a lawyer and you didn't try to talk to him?
I think I have one other question. In addition to
something's wrong
cell
there.
phones that we discussed, the cell phone of Sheriff Steins and the cell phone that you found off Judge Mullins, were there additional phones that you were able to obtain?
There was one other phone that's currently being examined, and the basic reason it was seized was there was a text conversation between Sheriff Steins and some of his employees with the sheriff's office.
Okay, and that was an additional phone of Sheriff Steins?
It was a phone of, I guess she's the, I don't know what her title is, but she's employed. She's not sworn. She's employed by the Letcher County Sheriff's Office. And she voluntarily gave her phone to the person that interviewed her.
Okay, and just out of curiosity, could you explain why that was relevant or germane to your investigation?
I didn't conduct that interview, but it was, I guess it was regarding the dinner at Streetside and things that led up to the shooting. But I don't have those results either, so I don't know exactly what was said.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought when we discussed that earlier that you indicated there was no evidence that the conversations at the lunch.
I haven't seen those conversations yet. I've not received the downloads from the phone.
Right, but I asked you if you're aware of any information that could have been gleaned from witnesses at that meeting, and as I recall, you said no, but there is some information that something was discussed at this lunch. Is that correct?
I don't know what was discussed at lunch.
I understand, but you obtained this lady that we don't know her name, you obtained her phone in an effort or based on a belief that she would be able to demonstrate what was said at lunch. So you would agree with me, you believe that there is a witness or information that may have popped up at lunch.
There's a recorded interview with her in the case, and I'm yet to receive the downloads of the phone, so I don't know what they contain.
Oh, okay, tell us about the interview.
Has that phone been sent to the forensic examination as well?
Yes.
Thank you. Also, that's all I have. Thank you.
Redirect. Questions. Has Judge Mullins, he's sent to medical examiner's office for autopsy?
He was.
Have you received that report yet?
No.
Have you had an informal conversation with him regarding his cause of death?
Yes.
And what was that?
Multiple gunshot wounds.
The video we showed earlier, that a true and accurate clear copy of what you received?
Yes.
Councilman introduce Council Exhibit number 1, Your Honor.
Any objection?
Your Honor, I'd ask, of course, all we saw today was the clip, but I ask it be admitted in its entirety, Your Honor.
You want to respond to that?
Judge, I don't think preliminary hearing is required for probable cause. This statute of probable cause, I think the entire clip is outside the purview of these proceedings today.
Yeah, I think if you want to see the whole video, you should have objected earlier. I'll admit the short clip. Yeah. I have the clerk.
You should have objected earlier.
Melanie, Detective, this is an ongoing investigation.
Yes, it is.
And as this ongoing investigation proceeds, you will be obviously interviewing more people if necessary, submitting more evidence to the lab.
Yes.
That's all I have.
Recross. All right. Any other witnesses for the Commonwealth?
No,
all right. You may step down. Any witnesses for the defendant?
This is just probable cause.
I'll find probable cause and bind this case over the grand jury. Anything else? Anything else before we adjourn court?
Yeah, just there's no. We're not allowed to sum up, Judge. What?
Oh, if you want to make an argument, sure.
It seems like I may change your mind, Judge.
It is a probable cause hearing, so but yes,
I understand.
Take your best shot.
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, so murder under our statute, as the court knows, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but if there is an issue as to extreme emotional disturbance, then there has to be some evidence that would rebut that. And specifically when I asked the witness today if there was any evidence to rebut that that this occurred as a direct result in the moment of this observation of the phone. They have none at this point. And I get it's just probable cause, but I think they've established probable cause for manslaughter first, but not murder. Because I've heard nothing that indicates that this is not
It's a good argument.
an example of an extreme emotional disturbance relative to the phone. At any rate, Judge, respectfully, I understand the court's previous ruling, but I did want to address that with you.
No, that's fine. Let the
Thank you, Your Honor.
Commonwealth respond.
Thank you, Your Honor. Extreme emotional disturbance is a defense. There's not been a defense presented here to this court today. The evidence presented to this court today is that the judge was intentionally shot and killed, shot multiple times by the sheriff, and there's probable cause to punish the grand jury murder charge.
Yeah, I agree. There's probable cause to proceed as murder.
Good effort.
Anything else before we adjourn court today?
Your Honor, in terms of, we'd like to discuss, if we could, lodging from here where he's transported. Is it the court's intention to have him take, and I don't want to discuss that potentially publicly, Your Honor.
I'm not sure I can make that help
sheriff.
you on that.
Yes, Your Honor. So,
I mean, we could. You're welcome to stay after court and discuss that, but I'm not sure I can tell the.
Jamie, congratulations.
yes, Your Honor. So the transport order that was entered that will direct Sheriff Steins to go back to where he came from, Judge. Is that fair?
Let's adjourn court and we'll talk about that.
Yes, sir.
I don't know that I can change where he's going to be at.
I understand. Yes, sir.
We can discuss it. All right.
Thanks, sir.
All right. Court's adjourned.
Yes, sir.
Wow. We're going to go back. I'm going to show you. We got demonetized a long time ago on this one, so we might as well slow it down, slow motion, count the shots, and see what happened. It was stunning. The court's already full. There's everybody is here on this one. All right, let's go back to our replay. This is the moment when they started showing the video. Now, just warning. This is a crime in progress. So you're seeing the security camera footage that was used as evidence to present that they have probable cause to proceed with this case. So we're gonna go slow motion here, and I'm gonna try to count the number of times there is recoil on the gun. So the reason I do this is because the gun itself fires very quickly. Like when it shoots, the top slide, because it's a semi-automatic handgun, when it drops back and loads the next bullet in the chamber, happens about as fast as you can blink, if not a little faster. So the frame rate of the cameras might not catch that, but the recoil of the gun going off is a motion where it passes energy into the hands that are holding the gun, and you'll see a shock. So watch for the action on the firearm, which you will see a couple times, and also watch for the action on the arms, where you'll see some recoil when the gun especially is not in view towards the end of the clip. So this is our best view right now. As he moves out of the way, at this point, I have no evidence that anything has been shot. The judge is cowering behind his desk for safety. We're watching his hands here. Let me go on full screen so I can see this. Oh, I've got a telemarketer calling. Telemarketer, can you wait? Okay, hang on. Okay, let's see. We're watching the gun, and frame by frame, it's steady, steady, steady. There's the first one. You can see the gun buck. That's the recoil from the first shot. So there's one. Goes forward. There's one right here. See that? Boom. There's two. I'm not seeing another. He drops the gun down. The judge has gone around the back side of the desk. The sheriff moves around in back of the chair. Moves the chair. The judge sees him coming that way, tries to get around to the other side of the desk. The firearm's still at his waist. Now he draws from here to here. I think that's just a draw. I didn't see a recoil there. That's a quick draw. It's a quick raising of the firearm. Levels it. Leans forward. Doesn't shoot yet. Now watch the items on the desk. If you watch as the judge tries to get underneath the desk, This is unbelievable. Still no shot. Keeps leaning over, looking to raise in the gun. Bam. Look at the items on the desk right here. See how they jump? Boom. I think he hit the desk. I think he shot the desk, or a ricochet hit the desk. So that would be number 3. Goes back around. Backs up. The desk is moving because the judge is pushing, trying to get underneath, and it's pushing the desk. Sheriff walks around. Walks straight to the door. The judge's robes are hanging on the door. Just come back from the dry cleaners. He opens the door, then looks back under the desk. Okay. The firearm is out of view, so we have to watch his arms. Let me turn this off here just a second. Okay, let me go back and watch this part a little faster, because I think there are 3. There are 3 at that point. So we're going to watch, let's do a live speed, slow it down just a tiny bit. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 right there. Quite a few. I think most of the shots were fired right there at the end. Because you can see his arms, you can see the arms shaking from the recoil. It's a pop, pop, pop. Look at the date in the top left-hand corner. This is on the 19th. This was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, and then the door's open when this happened. So if there's somebody in the next room over, they definitely heard at least those shots. But since the door's open, I don't see anybody out there from when he opens it. I don't see anybody moving. I don't see anybody in the hallway or walking. So there's no other people visible in that one. Wow. How much do they ding you? As soon as they show that becomes a demonetized video. There's nobody, and the reason why this is honest. This is not blaming YouTube. What company out there says I want to advertise on that video? Nobody does. This was, I'm not sure, cold-blooded murder. We've heard that there might have been an extreme emotional state, something that happened there regarding the phone, regarding his daughter, regarding the judge. We've got, it could somehow be connected loosely or in subject matter to what happened with one of his deputies, where there was a lawsuit over the deputy engaging in sexual acts in the judge's chamber. That very chamber. This might be crazy. There might be video from other crimes. There might be all sorts of things in that chamber. Whew. What was the final count? I would say safely, I would say 5 to 7. 5 to 7 is what I counted, with at least one shot in the desk, like affecting the top of the desk. Kel's Bells, thank you. Oh my goodness! Keep in mind, the detective said said he told another officer that supposedly the judge was going to kidnap his wife and daughter. They're trying to kidnap or take my wife and daughter. They said the judge knew. What? How did something happen in the chambers and the judge not know about it? The video camera installed after the deputy had inappropriate relations in the chambers, says Northwest. Oh my goodness. Reports say 8 shots. Okay, so that would be, there could have been one fired before the video started, or before we see the video where the guy's in the way. There could have been one shot that put him out of his chair in the corner in the first place. and then the other 7, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3 over the top, and then the 4 underneath. So that would make that would make sense. The judge had his daughter's phone number. No, the judge passed away. This was a fatal shooting. When I first heard about this, I wondered why they showed each other on their phones, or what they showed each other on their phones before him shooting the judge. They had lunch together first, then went back to meet in chambers, and the judge gave. We're going to see this whole video. If this comes out, we're going to see this whole video, because there's zero chance that the defense is going to just say, it's okay, we only want to show that clip. They're going to bring out the whole thing, and it's going to be pretty hard for the state to keep that out and say it's not relevant to show what happened moments before the shooting. This, if anything, it is extremely relevant. They also already have acknowledged they have another phone conversation saying there was something that happened. There was a discussion back and forth. That whole clip is going to be shown, and the lead up to, and the body language and everything else is going to be quite telling. No audio on those security cameras. Just video. Is the sheriff's department doing the investigation? I believe it's an outside sheriff's department or a state police, Kentucky State Police, I think he said. Usually when there's an incident that involves a law enforcement officer in that community, they take somebody from an outside community, or they take someone from the state to do the investigation, just to keep it clean. Oh, we're all over this one. If they've shown this court's going to be wide open. If they were not going to open this court to the public, what we just saw would never have hit the light of day. That would have been sealed. It's going to be quite the trial. It's going to be nuts. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get back to our Thurston trial. Kentucky road trip. Yes. It's like how Proctor got the KR case. Okay, so that's a bad example, Legally Blonde. I mean, yes, it's a good example, but it's a bad case. This is going to be crazy. KSP are too close to this. You got to judge. You've got to judge, and the judge has connections with more than just the local police and the sheriff's department. I'm sure their interactions with the state police are, quite extensive. The judge and the sheriff were married to sisters. They were brothers-in-law. Oh my goodness. This is almost the Hatfield McCoys. Amber says, my mom's in Kentucky. I have like a 3-week vacation on the books. Wait for court to be scheduled. And go then. Boone starts next week. I thought it was the DA. We know they're close family connections. No, judge and prosecutor were married to sisters, not the sheriff. Judge and prosecutor married to sisters, so sheriff's not related. Thanks for the correction on that one. Okay, so here's this. This is incredibly juicy. This is crazy, but a couple things happen right now. Probable cause has been established, so this is going to the grand jury. So there's going to be a grand jury seated and an indictment. So this will be indicted. That's probably going to keep everything sealed and it's going to be very quiet for the next little while. We'll know that there was an indictment and he's been indicted, but it's going to be a quiet period. If he waives speedy trial, which a lot of defendants do, especially in murder trials, if he waives speedy trial, which would allow him more time to present a defense or gather defense or evidence and things like that, this could be years out. That waives speedy trial, we're looking 2026 minimum 2026. If he doesn't, we're 30, 60, 90 days from trial at this point. Oh, my goodness. have to wait too long for the trial. Sheriff made $115K a year. Houses cost $45K. Overpaid for the area. Houses cost $45K in Kentucky. For a sheriff of a county, I'd be surprised if you find many that are paid less than $100,000 nowadays for being the county sheriff. And he was not just a deputy; he was the sheriff of the county. Jill and Brian, let me see. What was your question? I'd like to say yes, I answered your question, but I don't remember. I've not looked at that one. Kay Vixen's mom. Is this mom in Kentucky? Is this Amber's mom? Send me the information on that one. Amber, is that your mom? Yes, it's me. Hi, Mom. Welcome. Good to have you here. Can someone tell the court we need good scheduling? I don't do it when there's other interesting stuff. Not during Coburger, please. Okay. Somebody mentioned earlier that the fact that he was the sheriff at the time and functioning as sheriff in that role makes it very difficult for him to claim like insanity and things like that. When the judge asked about his assets because they were talking about if he was indigent, he said, "I don't know," to every question. So is this court-appointed representation? The sheriff resigned yesterday. I didn't take the spam call, so it went to you, Ricky. That's what happens. You're next on the list. Yeah. Here's just my vibe. This is what I'm gathering just from watching this. First of all, there are some deep, dark secrets that involve a lot of people, that a lot of people knew about, that happened in this courthouse. There are a lot of people who don't want those secrets to come out. And this case is a gigantic can opener that's going to just rip the lid off the top. It's going to be, and it's all law enforcement versus, justices. It's law enforcement versus law enforcement almost. So Hornet's Nest will be spicy. It's going to be Canton all over again. So the sheriff plays the martyr, so all this comes out. He could, Zimmy. His right to a trial could be the gateway where his side of the story gets told, even if it doesn't change anything, even if at the end of the day he's still as guilty as sin as he appears to be on the video. I think that's his chance to get, the here's why out there to the public. And that here's why might include a lot of other people's names. It might include some other facts and other heads might roll. Coburger's judge. Oh, I love Coburger's new judge. So good. Higler, I think is his name. And he's like, let's do it sooner. Okay, we've got to keep this on the schedule. We will watch this one like a hawk. Especially at this point, there's not going to be a PCA, right? That's going to be probably sealed until after the grand jury. Where, like in Idaho, the PCA gets released as soon as there's a grand jury hearing. But we'll see. When the PCA comes out, that's going to have a lot of facts. It also is usually wrong. If you look at the probable cause affidavit, it oftentimes has incorrect information. It has conclusions that are not right. It might even have, events that are listed incorrectly. But it has sort of the initial, just the quick scan. This is what the case is about. Hippler. I thought it was Higler. I knew it had a double letters there in the middle of the name. Oh my goodness. Kate. he said at the end of the trial, I can go back and play it for you here. Just one second. Let's jump to the end. See what the judge says at the very end. Okay, let's listen right here. Ready?
Anything else? Anything else before we adjourn court?
Oh wait, let's go back. Okay.
Clerk, enter that as exhibit number 1.
And as this ongoing investigation proceeds, you will.
Okay, hang on. Skip ahead.
We're not allowed to sum up, Judge, what.
It was right before this.
All right, you may stay.
Here we go.
Any witnesses for the defendant? I'll find probable cause and bind this case over the grand jury.
Okay, I'll find probable cause and bind this case over the grand jury. So this was a probable cause hearing, and it's now going to the grand jury after this. CLO says you're like Batman. Oh, I'm Batman. You have all the cool toys. I do love the cool toys when it comes to making video look good and get us to be able to see everything we need to see the way we want to see it. I'm all about that. Wow. Sheriff is in custody. He will stay there for sure. He will not be out on bail. Cheryl, I don't know what the daughter looks like. I know the daughter is probably underage as far as legal adult age. I realize in Kentucky the age of consent for relationships, I think, is 16, which is, before you're even allowed to vote. But still, with her being a minor, I don't want to call her out when she's not been part of this case thus far. Let's give her some privacy. Obviously, a juvenile. Even if Kentucky law says it's okay, it's still juvenile. What is the judge's name? Are you talking about the judge with that was shot? Was it Stiles or something? Steins? Oh, so Sheriff Steins gunned down Judge Mullins. Man, allegedly. I don't know. I think the video takes us a step beyond alleged. What has to happen for this to go to trial? Okay, grand jury now gets to hear this, and at the grand jury, fun fact, guess who's not there? The defense. The defense does not get to go and make their argument against this. A jury is seated, a grand jury is seated, and they hear the evidence just from the prosecution, and they will return an indictment, a bill of indictment with the charges, which skips that step. So, and then from there it goes to the pretrial, schedule for court, all that. It's, yeah, allegedly. Everything's allegedly, unless proven otherwise in a court of law. Oh, Chris Wallace, this point where they have him in custody, he is not lawyered up, right? He's not said, hey, I want my attorney. I'm not going to talk to you guys. And then nobody talks to him. They know they've got him in custody and nobody talks to him. Did you attempt to talk to him? Nope. Any of you guys? Not that I'm aware of. That is like the first thing you do when you've got somebody in custody. It's like, hey, now's our chance before they lawyer up. Let's get the deets. Let's get the information. Let's ask them some questions. Let's get out of them what we can before the lawyer comes along and ruins all our fun. And instead, it was like a silence, a gag order. Nobody talked to this guy. Nobody. There's something they didn't want said in that interview, and so they didn't interview him. Oh man, they knew the deets already. I did not see the hearing last week at EJF. I know it was a fast one. They said he just asked to be treated fair. That was just in passing comment. That was not an interview. Lynn Godwin, this channel has spiced up my workday for the past 8 months, actually since September 2023. I love being here. I've learned a lot. Lynn, thank you very much. Glad we can make your workday go a little bit faster and smoother. Amber says, Recovery Addict, to play devil's advocate, I don't think those deputies wanted to be anywhere near the initial investigation and wait for KSP. Yes, this is what Canton should have done, right? It should have said, hey, don't touch it. It's internal. It was a Zoom hearing. Wow. Yeah, what the backstory on this with the deputy that was engaged in sexual acts in the judge's chambers. I don't know who else was there. I don't know anything else. That's all we've heard. There's a lawsuit about that. And the lawsuit, I think, was basically pointing the finger at the sheriff as well for not either taking care of it or catching it or responding appropriately to it, I think is the lawsuit. I didn't miss anything on the other hearing. Nikki Bachmeyer says, I looked up the law firm. It doesn't seem to be a public defender. I guess he must have found a way to hire an attorney. Or what's often the case, police officers are typically part of a union. This could be something that a service that's provided by union membership. So law enforcement oftentimes are union members. What it sounds like is Amber's going to be up all night, again, doing what she does best on the interwebs to dig up info. We wouldn't have it any other way, Amber. Yes, he's going through his union rep. Okay, that's confirmed. That would explain why we've got high-profile, very experienced lawyers dealing with the law enforcement case. Charlene says, I'm starting to feel like the lawsuit and what happened with the judge may be two separate things. Yeah, because they were friends. They're going out to lunch together. And then they're like, hey, maybe we should take this back to chambers and talk about it in private. And he's like, yeah, let me see your phone. Pulls up the phone. Pop, 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 pop. Something you saw on that phone is not good. And it needs to come out. It needs to come out because it's relevant to his defense, I think. Reverend Beasy, welcome back. Says, I wish I could put 17. I wish I could put 17 zebras on here. 17 months. Thank you, Reverend Beasy. I need to put my zebra back. I haven't had it up since I went on. I think I brought it with me on my trip, but I didn't put it back up here. Be careful because mom's was a tight ship when it comes to getting rest. Small towns, big secrets. That's the name of this trial. I think that's our. Can you imagine the thumbnail on this one? Oh my goodness. I wonder what kind of defense his lawyers will be offering. I think it's probably early, but the indication we saw about the extreme emotional state is probably the most obvious one there. There's with it all happening on video, you can't go self-defense. He knew there was a camera in that room. I don't know if he did. I can guess he probably knew. You got the perfect little trial. No caps. Can somebody ban or time out Amber for using all caps? The night that the lights went out in Kentucky. The perfect trial title. We'll have to talk to Reba and see if we can. Isn't it Reba or is that Dolly? I don't know my country singers. I know the song. It's the night that hung an innocent man. Don't trust your soul to no backwoods southern lawyer because the judge in the town's got bloodstains on his hands. I think those are the words. We'll get the zebra back. It's Reba. Okay. Done first by Vicki Lawrence. I didn't know Reba did a cover of that one. I'll have to listen to the original. Sometimes the original is better than the remake. Like often. Just look at Star Wars. Has anyone ever won an emotional state homicide case? Yes, especially when it's a crime of passion defense, and it's not winning saying justified, but it lessens the charge. You can't prove the highest charge when it's a crime of passion. I think this could be a crime of passion. Problem is the video seems entirely cold-blooded. Culperistic. Part of the problem is we only have video. We don't have audio. So they could be sitting there. He could be yelling at the judge. Then the judge could be yelling back. And we haven't seen what happened before. But not many know the Vicki Lawrence song. Vicki Lawrence did Star Wars, says Don. Now we're mixing our conversations a little bit. I'm still shocked from watching the video, says Nikki. The sheriff seemed like he was set on taking him out at all cost. He did, and I think we don't have audio, but I think that after he fired at least those 3 rounds, and the judge was under the desk, as he was going out, he'd opened the door. I think he either heard the judge call out for help or something like that, which is probably what happened, and that's why he went back and finished him. I mean, I think he thought that he had taken care of it the first time, and when the judge was not dead and obvious, so that's when he turned mid-exit and finished the job. Wow. I don't know where we go from that. That is wild. I'm going to I want to see the look at the video again. I don't know. I'm not sure if you guys want to see the video. Let's see one more time. Okay, content warning one more time. Where was the firearm retrieved? The defendant had it. Content warning. Thank you, Krista. We don't have to imagine the pain, Nikki. We heard them just sobbing in court. I'm going to watch one more time just to make sure. I'm going to watch it live speed or just below, maybe 75%. Let's do 75%. Here we go. This is the video that was basically all the evidence they needed to win this probable cause hearing. One. Was there 2 there? Hold tight. Did I miss the second one? I've got it on my big screen now. Just 1 second. One, 2. Three. Oh, he's headed out the door. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one to defend your way out of. The backstory is going to be everything. That's, oh, man. Krista Johnson says, on a lighter note, my daughter's having another baby. I don't know. It sounds like he's shot 8 times. There appears to be, there's one point where I think I can see a shell casing on the floor that it might get stepped on, but 8 times out of, depends on the caliber. I'll say that appeared to be a concealed carry gun, as opposed to a full size, which depending on if it's either probably a 9, you've got 3 options. It's either a 9mm, a 40 caliber, or a 45. A lot of 45s are just too big to carry as concealed. If it's a 9mm, you could have 10 to 12 rounds in it. If it's a 40, it's going to be 8 to 10, I guess 7 to 10. Yeah. Yeah, the judge looks like he was like, hey, dial it back, calm down. Yeah, but Looked like a 9mm. Could be wrong. The recoil looked about right for a 9mm, but 40 is very close to that. 45 is a little bit more. The gun racks, he emptied. Whoa, are you serious? Did I miss that? Hang on. We're looking right at the end. Sorry, full screen on my side. Okay. So here the slide. The slide is forward. It doesn't look locked back. It looks like it's forward here to me. The chamber is closed, so it's not. I don't think it's locked back there at all. That one looks sort of like it is, but no, I'd say it's not. Wow. What are those figures on the wall? I was looking at that. I think they're like miners, like coal miners. They have a coal pick and a bucket. And there's a lot of them. Some of them appear to be decorated. So I don't know if it's a quilt. I've got maybe a spam call. Hang on one second. Hello? 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 Man. Doesn't help if they don't answer. It looks like to be a quilt. Kentucky coal miners quilt. Yeah, TYO Toys. We slowed it down. 7 to 8 shots is what it looks like to us, judging from the recoil. And then he just heads out. But it's pretty intense. I mean, it's. I don't think a shot had been fired at this point because the hands are up. Generally, I think once shots are fired, people don't keep their hands up. Boom. There's the first shot right there. Boom. And the second one. Third one was over right here. Watch through the table. You can see the things that jump. So he's got like a pen. If you look directly below where his hands are outstretched, boom, things jump right there on the desk. I think it's because he shot the table. That was 3. Then he goes back under here and does, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Why is there even a trial? Well, it's his right to have a trial. Even if you're guilty of sin, you get to have a trial. You do that by just saying, I'm not guilty, and I'd like a jury trial. It's a very small town. They've moved out of that town, though. Looks like a janitor's office. They have several judges' chambers. This one had a video camera in it, possibly because of the illegal or immoral activities that were taking place in that chamber previously that related to a lawsuit. I swear I saw recoil in the dude's arms before the guy moves in front of the TV moves. I didn't see it. I mean, I don't want to show it that many times, but it it doesn't look. Where they stopped it. This is interesting. Look at this. This is where they paused it, the screenshot. This is at 14:52:08. And immediately on 14:52, so from 08 to 32, this was like 20 seconds, and the whole thing was over. That was fast. I don't know. Yes, I think very much, very personal. Does Kentucky have the death penalty? Hey, Siri. Hey, Siri, does Kentucky have the death penalty?
Okay, I found this on the web for Does Kentucky Have the Death Penalty? Check it out.
Yes, capital punishment legal in Kentucky. But let's see if they actually carry it out. There have been no executions in Kentucky since 2008, and only 3 since 1976. So yes, they do have the death penalty, but it doesn't happen very often. The motive is defense's case, not presented yet. There will be a lot of that. Mitigating factors may apply. Yeah, and at the end of the day, once this story comes out, a lot of people might not be very happy with the judge, the one who passed away. It sounds like something was going on here that, on one side or the other, someone's a bad guy, someone's a bad man. He could serve 20 years to life in prison since he's accused of killing a public official. He could potentially face the death penalty. Fun facts, culperistic, Kentucky Fried Chicken, first store, Salt Lake City, Utah. Still there. Right there off of I-15, I think. All right, I don't know if we can go back and watch the rest of this trial with in Thurston. Do you guys want to go back and watch that? I am keyed up. That is. Let's go back and see what's happening. We've still got the opening. I think actually we've got the in the Thurston County trial. We have a officer on the stand who was the officer who stopped the defendant. The defendant is charged with driving while high on marijuana. And let's jump back there and see what's happening here, shall we? If I can make it work.
If we could have Ms. Schick or Trooper Schick sworn in under penalty of perjury.
Yeah, sorry if I missed that. My bad. So, Trooper Schick, if you just raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony that you've given and that you will be giving will be the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
You can swear him at the end. You promise everything you said was true?
Would Your Honor like me to start from the beginning?
No, we can proceed.
Okay. Trooper Schick, did any of your training to become a trooper include learning how to detect whether a person is under the influence of drugs?
Yes.
Okay. Can you describe that?
Okay, hold on. I might need to make a new stream because I know that we got demonetized on this one. And although it's not all about the money, if I don't get some ad revenue coming in, then it's hard to keep working every day because there are bills. So let's do a quick portal over to a new stream. Just 1 second. Let's cancel this one. Man, that Kentucky sheriff thing, holy cow. This is just going to be Thurston. Can we make a thumbnail? We'll do that. I'll open this up in just a second. Give me just a second here. Thurston, Washington. Yeah, we're going to call it the Weed and Speed trial, if that works. Weed and Speed trial. Okay. Customization, live chat replay. We're all good. Visibility, we're going to go live in 5 minutes. It'll actually be sooner than that, hopefully. All right, now for a Canva link. I'll give this out now so you guys can start working on it. It's going to be a YouTube thumbnail. Computer's going slowly. Just 1 second here. Weed and Speed. Anyone with the link can edit. Copy link. Okay, here we go. I have to go back to the right chat to share this. Why is this not working? We'll just wait here for a minute. Oh, there we go. Okay, there's our link for Canva. WeatherWatch says, I'll forfeit my pay for today to help with demonetization. WeatherWatch, oh, you shouldn't have. You shouldn't have. That's super kind of you. We'll add that 0 to the other zeros, and it's all about the zeros. All right, so there's the stream. Let me make the portal, and we'll jump over. So it took a little longer than 5 minutes, right? Redirect to the Thurston County Weed and Speed. Save. All right. Whew. Everyone keep your hands and feet inside the ride at all times. Tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love. Smile at someone to make their day just a little bit better. And please stay safe till we go live again in just a moment on the Thurston County Weed and Speed trial. Because, yeah, we showed some stuff on this last one. We showed some stuff in slow motion. And YouTube doesn't like that very much. So we're going to jump over there. We'll see you guys. I'll fade this music out quickly, so we'll see you here in just a little minute. And we'll back up just a tiny bit and then continue out of Thurston. Thanks a lot. Bye.